So I'm not normally a gamer. I don't think I've ever completed a story game before. Maybe I've beaten like some Lego games as a kid, and obviously I've beaten the Ender Dragon in Minecraft, but I don't think I had actually beaten a story game quite like The Last of Us. But after the announcement of Spider-Man Miles Morales, I went and actually beat this time Spider-Man. I had this game since Christmas 2018. I think that might be the first video on my channel that I haven't privated yet. I played 6% of this game before, and I went back and I actually beat it this time. And then I was talking about games with my friend, my best friend, and then he said, oh yeah, The Last of Us came with my PS4, and this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I said, oh, can I borrow it? And he's like, yeah, sure, because he didn't play it. And I wanted to play it because the second one had just come out. I have not played it yet, don't spoil it in the comments. And I finally played The Last of Us. This review will contain spoilers for the first game only, not the second one. I haven't even put the disc in yet. I have not played the second one yet. Please don't spoil it in the comments down below, but you can put spoilers for the first game. Now, I already know a spoiler for the second one, but don't comment that down below. You can put ones for the first one down below because I'm going to be talking about them in this video, and if you haven't played the game yet, I highly recommend it. If you haven't played or don't know the story, The Last of Us Remastered opens with a heartbreaking scene where Joel's daughter dies at the start of this crazy zombie-like outbreak, and 20 years later he must escort 14-year-old Ellie, who just so happens to be immune to this bite. Now, as I said, I was beyond excited to play this game. I haven't really felt this hyped to play a game probably ever. I just heard amazing things about it, and my god, was this game great. It's basically a masterpiece. I have a few nitpicks with the game, but I call them nitpicks because they aren't exactly problems with the game, it's just my skill, because I'm not a gamer. When I didn't know what to do, I would watch a walkthrough, and this person who played it had no problem figuring it out, so I just realized that it's not the game's fault, it's my fault, so I can't call them problems. But earlier on in the game, it's super hard to kill the clickers. There's one mission, or level, whatever you want to call it, that I probably played for an hour and a half, where you have to sneak around, kill one, but then there's a few clickers and there's other ones, but your weapons aren't as good to kill them yet. Now, later on in the game, you get more weapons, you get more guns, and it's better, but you have to stealth kill some of them with a shiv, I think it's called. That was hard to do sometimes because sometimes I didn't have one and I didn't have the materials to make one, and I know you like look around for them, but there wasn't any left at least, and I spent an hour and a half on that one level and it got really annoying. And sometimes for me, it was unclear what to do, like how to get under something, or while swimming, this is just me being stupid, I kept forgetting to dive underwater to go look for stuff, and it always looks like you're about to lose breath, and it took me a bit to find some of the like planks or rafts, whatever, because Ellie can't swim, and that kind of got annoying sometimes, but it's just my problem, it's not the game. I'll be positive now and tell you the best aspect of the game is the relationship between Joel and Ellie. There was so much conflict at times, but this bond also starts to grow, and you really feel for them, and there's this beautiful moment with giraffes at the end. Joel is this broken man. He lost his young daughter, as I mentioned, and we meet his brother later on, and we hear that he lost him too, but normally we expect him to take in Ellie as his own, we'll say, like a replacement for his daughter, but we don't get that here. We get this almost friendship that bonds. Like, we see him start to care about Ellie later on. Like, she's talking about how she can't swim, and then he's like, oh yeah, we'll teach you that too, or I'll teach you how to play guitar. But that happens later on because there are some moments where he gets really mad at her. But Ellie is different in the way that she has lost people, but it's not as apparent. We learn about it later on. Like, she says when she was bitten, her and her best friend were both bitten, and they decided to die together. Now, obviously, Ellie didn't die, but she lost her best friend. She says that, now I have chills, whoa. She says that everyone that she cares about or loves dies or leaves her, and that was just, it was amazing. The way that Naughty Dog, Neil Druckmann, and both the voice actors Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson show this, like, relationship, conflict, dynamic, whatever you want to call it, is unbelievable. All the characters we meet along the way are great. I especially liked Henry and Sam. It had some great drama, but their final scene in it, that both of their death scenes, Henry and Sam, where Sam gets infected and he turns on Ellie when they're in a different room and he like dives on her. Joel goes to kill him, but then Sam's like, no, or then Henry's like, no, no, he shoots him, and then he shoots himself, and then there's just the reaction that even Joel gives, even though Joel has been killing people nonstop throughout the game, still shows that they even cared about these people because they're helping them, and even when they left and they're like, you would have done the same thing. It's just amazing. The game also looks great. Now, there are a few things here that look a bit off. Like, the way that Joel's daughter looked, there was just something about it that seemed weird to me. I don't really know why. But the way that they use motion capture, too, like, I think they designed the game, I don't really know exactly how all of that's made. But they also use motion capture, so the way that these characters move feels realistic, and I really like that because it makes you really feel like you are playing. You mostly play as Joel, but you sometimes play as Ellie too, which was awesome. It really made you feel like you were watching real people in the cutscenes. I really felt invested in the story, and I cared about these characters. Also, the weapons, they were awesome. I loved crafting here. There was this part at the end, there's this part where you have to, there's a lot of times where you have to like go through, Joel and Ellie, and then you have to get to, this is basically me explaining all of them without the video. I'll show you the video over top here. But you have to climb, and then you have to climb over. But there's like a ton of them. There's a few bloaters too. And I spent like half an hour to 45 minutes on that. And then I snuck around the side. And then I think I used 3 of those like bombs that kind of look like cans. I just threw 3 of them, and then I threw a Molotov cocktail, and it just set everything on fire too. And then I think I killed 2 extra ones with a bow, and then I shot like a bloater in the head, and it was that was fun. That was really fun, and I didn't craft a lot throughout the game until there. I was like, okay, let's just try. Let's see if this works. It works. I highly suggest using those Molotov cocktails because they are so fun, and the bombs. Just don't be near them. I have to talk more about the actual fighting and the gunfights. The hand-to-hand combat was great. I liked it more in Spider-Man. Now, I can't really compare the games because Spider-Man, of course, you have more control over it. But the way that it was like, here's how you punch with, with a square, and then like you punch, but then sometimes when you have weapons like an axe, I highly recommend always choose an axe because it's just like 1 kill for basically everything. You like slam it into them and pull back. It's pretty epic, but it felt really great. And then stealth killing, I loved Ellie's stealth kill where she like sneaks up behind them and then she goes behind them, goes it was, yeah, okay. Yeah, that was pretty. It was pretty entertaining to watch because she's 14. She's climbing on the back and just stabbing guys in the neck. Pretty cool. I used the shotgun a ton, and the ammo is limited to like the point where you have to run through that hallway at the end where you're saving Ellie in the room, and then you get through some floors, which took a while, and then you get to that final hallway and you have to like sneak around. I barely had any ammo there, and it was funny there because the score really elevated. The score was perfect here, but sometimes you just want to run straight through to find Ellie, but then they shoot you, and so you kind of got to sneak around, and then I just got to the point again where I was crafting bombs and just going and then running straight forward, and then killing the 3 doctors. That was interesting. Oh yeah, also I found where this meme is from. I was so happy when I found it. It's this one right here.
That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
I was proud. The Last of Us Remastered is basically a flawless game. I was invested all the way from that powerful opening scene to the perfect ending. It had all these very fun and intense gunfights, but what really tied the game together well was this dynamic between Joel and Ellie. The voice actors, the director, everyone who worked on this game should be proud because The Last of Us is essentially a masterpiece. I'm gonna give The Last of Us Remastered an A+. This might be my favorite game of all time. I can't decide between this and Spider-Man yet, and I am very excited to play the second one. I've heard very mixed things about it. Some people hate it. Some people have destroyed their disc after the one spoiler that I know. I won't say it, don't worry. And I would like to know what you think of the game in the comments down below. Also, there's a scene here. It's the scene where Joel just gets impaled, and I thought he died here too, but I was like, whoa. And now I get why people really want Hugh Jackman to play him. Yeah. I really want to see either Hugh Jackman or Ben Affleck play him in this HBO series. One of those two, or they maybe find someone else is great too, but those are the 2 that come to my mind off the top of my head That made no sense, but I'm not going to edit that out. And Daphne Keane, who plays the younger Wolverine, McCullough, and Logan, she'd be great as Ellie too. So what did you think of The Last of Us Remastered or The Last of Us if you played it on PS3? You can comment spoilers for the first one down below. Don't spoil the second one, but what did you also think of that? Come back in a few weeks for my review of that, and I will see you guys next time. Over and out.